I'm Cookie Miller, and this is Worth the Wait. Join me every week as I explore profound weight loss solutions beyond just diet and exercise, because a lifestyle change starts with changing your mind. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Worth the Wait. I'm your host, Cookie Miller. Welcome to season 2 of the podcast. I have missed you guys. Thank you so much to everyone who has followed us on Instagram. We're at Worth the Wait podcast there. We have still been posting, and you guys have been interacting and leaving comments, and I super appreciate that. So if you aren't already, please follow us on IG, because we do keep the content going whenever we take these types of breaks. So during the break, I posted a TikTok about how going on a weight loss journey uncovered undiagnosed ADHD. And the response I got was just crazy. So many people who resonated with this and resonated with the story. I just knew I had to share this information here and in more detail with you all. So I'm going to break this into a few parts. I'm going to talk about ADHD symptoms. I'm going to talk, of course, about my diagnosis and how I went undiagnosed for so long, how ADHD and difficulty losing weight are connected, and managing ADHD while on a weight loss journey. Now, of course, I am not a medical professional, and you should reach out to your healthcare provider for more information if you feel like you may have ADHD, or you do have ADHD, or you're looking for a way to treat it. But let's go ahead and get into it. So what are some symptoms of ADHD? Well, we will go through a list, but before we do, I do want to say that symptoms are going to be different for everyone. So these are just some general kind of symptoms, and symptoms are also going to be different or present differently in men versus women. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But some symptoms are impulsiveness, unable to concentrate on tasks, excessive activity or restlessness, trouble multitasking, poor planning, a hot temper, trouble coping with stress, and poor time management. Now, how many of y'all, listen, you're going to have to hit us up on IG if I'm telling you this list and you're just like, yep, because that's kind of how I was. So let's talk about my diagnosis and how I went undiagnosed for so long. So I was not diagnosed until about 4 years ago. This was post-high school, college, jobs, and even business ownership, and I had no idea that I had ADHD. So some of the key reasons why I believe my diagnosis went under the radar was how well I did in school. I was a really good student. I graduated with a 4.0. I went to college on a partial scholarship. I didn't stand out the way we've seen ADHD portrayed. So, for example, I was very fidgety. I still am. I'm fidgeting while recording, and I always hope that that is not like such a hassle for my editor. But I was very fidgety, but I did not disrupt class. So I would finish my work before many of the students, and because I could not bear to just sit there, I would just make myself useful to my teachers. So it always came off as being just intelligent, kind, helpful. Not that those things weren't true, but really, I was just bored after doing my work and needed something to keep me busy. Don't even get me started on jobs, because, oh my gosh, my relationship with different jobs, it was a lot, okay? So in hindsight, there were jobs that I quit or that I was fired from, and I realized that it was at the root of it due a lot to my undiagnosed ADHD and just not being able to manage that. So it wasn't until I became a business owner myself and I got to a certain point within my weight loss journey where I really got clued in that something may be going on. So I started looking up ADHD online, and every single symptom sounded like me. I was just like in shock. So I couldn't believe it. I then decided to find a test online, like one of those just very basic ADHD quiz or whatever. I found that I took it. My results were off the charts. So I researched adult ADHD psychologists in my area, and I went in to be evaluated. And all of this probably took place over the course of like a couple of months or something like that. And I mean, it was crystal clear to him that I definitely had ADHD, and he wanted to know how I had been managing all my life like this. So I started showing him like little tricks that I developed to really help myself to stay organized and remember things, and he just couldn't believe it. He was so impressed with how well I had things organized to work with my ADHD after being undiagnosed for so long. So those different techniques and strategies that I was showing him that I used were things that I had developed while trying to lose weight. I had tried and failed at losing weight so many times, and I finally realized I needed to get myself organized. So let's talk about the connection between the ADHD and weight loss and how I was really cued in. So some of the symptoms of ADHD, like I mentioned earlier, are poor planning and impulsiveness. And I found that every time I would start and fail a weight loss journey, it was because I would just jump in with no clear direction. So sometimes it would be like, I'm going to go juice for 60 days just because I watched a documentary without really thinking through the process, my life, how that would fit in. And this didn't just happen with something so extreme like juicing, but with any so-called plan that I had, it was just this way of just completely jumping in and not thinking it through. So I started realizing that I needed a daily plan. So at the time I was working in corporate, I would get a sticky note, and then on that sticky note, I would write down the top few things that I had to do that day and stick it on the back of my phone and check it off as I went. And it worked. Like, it worked really well for me. At the time, I would be walking around the office because basically I wouldn't take the sticky notes off until the end of the week. So Monday, I would have my first one on there. And by the end of the week, I'd be walking around the office with all these sticky notes on the back of my phone. And people always wanted to know what the heck I was doing. And I was literally just writing things like body pump class at 4, 96 ounces of water, things like that, so that I would remember to actually do these things. So this little list was like my lifeline, and there was something so nice about checking everything off. And the sticky note trick is something that I still do to this day. In fact, you guys can go, my TikTok is Cookie Miller Fit, and you can actually visually see the sticky notes and see the setup. And I think I also have a video on IG as well. I've found that working through planning things out has aided in the impulsiveness that comes with ADHD. So many neurotypical people can see how one thing benefits the other. I mean, neurodivergent people see it, obviously. It's just easier said than done for us. So one of the essential pieces of advice I can give someone with ADHD or suspected ADHD is to carve out time to plan for the plan. When you don't think out what workout time, meal prep time, etc. is going to look like, you won't be successful in executing. So, for example, if your goal is to work out 3 times per week and you want to schedule that, it would help if you looked at everything that could get in the way and how much time you need to do the task. So, for example, I block out about 2 hours in my day for workout because the workout itself may take an hour, but I still need to consider my commute time, setup time, etc. So this has helped me immensely. Before, I'd feel overworked, overbooked because I didn't thoroughly think how much time something would take to complete. So the same thing goes for meal prep, for example. The food may only take an hour to cook, but I also need to consider cleanup time and, putting things away and all of that. So this is not meant to discourage you, but time blindness is so common in those with ADHD. So we need to understand how much time it fully takes to do something. And again, this will lead to less frustration. Even if we think of this like from the standpoint of a weight loss journey, right? It's the same thing, because with that impulsiveness and with that time blindness and having ADHD, no wonder I was going, oh, I'm going to juice for 60 days and this thing will be over forever. Like, I'll just lose the weight in the 60 days and I'll keep it off forever, right? I wasn't fully thinking through how much time something actually could take, which is really years, to get very comfortable on your weight loss journey. But I wasn't thinking that way. So you will save yourself a lot of frustration and a lot of that feeling of failure if you would basically stop setting yourself up for failure. So we've gone over ADHD symptoms, how to get diagnosed, how I went undiagnosed for so long, how ADHD and difficulty losing weight are connected, and a couple of techniques that I have used to manage ADHD while on a weight loss journey and continue to use. So thank you guys so much for listening to Worth the Wait. If this episode or any of our episodes have helped you, please leave us a review. You can also take a screenshot and tag us on Instagram. We are at Worth the Wait Podcast, and we will definitely respond and repost you. So thank you guys again so much for listening, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Bye.